Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Spaying the Need. Tonight, we're going to change the rhythm of how we pursue things today. Everyone's enjoying spring. Well, it is spring, so we're going to get ready for spring, and hopefully we can open up the areas and just enjoy life. And to talk about what they're doing for the spring is the CEO and president of Ohio Flame, Matt Skillman. Matt, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having us, Anthony. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem. We talked a little bit about we're in this kind of, I hate to say it's funk because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And people are kind of getting excited because the weather's getting better and everything. And we'll talk a little bit about kind of how that works and kind of a little bit after that. But Ohio Flame is a different type of company that people really don't realize out of Columbiana. So first, let's talk about your background, kind of how you got started and how you kind of got into the role of the CEO and president of the Ohio Flame. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, well, I got my start. I've been in the steel business now probably 20 years, from getting my start in more of like the scrap side of the steel business and worked my way up to basically secondary material sales, basically selling flat roll. Then I worked for a steel producer for some time, and then now more of on the retail side, where we assemble, produce and form steel and ship them out in form of fire pit. So I've kind of gotten the full gamut from the scrap end, to the sales, now to the retail end of things. So I had lost my job in the recession, basically hit in 2008, 2009 for me. So I lost my job. I was working for a steel company, been there 8 years, worked my way up from very bottom and lost my job, and, took another job somewhere else and trying to figure out how, how to kind of make ends meet, how to hustle a little bit and trying to just work with what was around me at the time. So I had some formed steel that, I said, hey, we could probably make some fire pits here. And so just did it as a side job. I had no desire to build a company or do something. I was just trying to hustle just to make ends meet. And that was in 2009. I started doing this out of my garage, very small, selling on Craigslist, on eBay. And I had a few national e-commerce, retail companies contact me and say, hey, this is great. We want to help you grow your business. I said, what do you mean help me grow my business? They said, oh, we're going to put this on our website and we'll send you a purchase order whenever we get a sale, and, you just ship it out from there. So I said, well, I don't know how that works, but it sounds good. Well, here I find out, now we just call that drop ship business. But, me in my, 20s trying to figure this out, we'd make these fire pits in our garage, and I'd go down to my local FedEx store and just wheel these boxes in and just load them up and ship them out. In 2012, we were able to take this company, scale it, became a full-time job for me. So I was able to, focus on this as my priority. And, things were going really good, for a few years. And then last year, the pandemic hit. And I remember my wife and I, we were in New Orleans for a major trade show that we go to every year for, the Outdoor Hearth Barbecue Patio Association. And the whole world changed on us. It was, I think, March 13th of last year. And I'm thinking, wow, man, I don't know what's going to happen. Or fire pit's going to be a thing. And I was thinking, this is going to be a difficult year. It was an election year. So I was anticipating sales were going to be a little tough, as they normally are every 4 years. And we came home and I was thinking, well, maybe the fire pits will be popular. Maybe people are going to want to stay home. It seemed to work out when the recession hit. I noticed everyone was staying home. People, even I could relate. I used to go out to eat all the time. Used to, hang out, go out, do that kind of thing. Recession hit. Everyone stayed home. We changed the way we lived for a while. And I was thinking, there might be some similarities, but, not really too sure about that. And come home and everyone's hoarding hand sanitizer and toilet paper. And I'm thinking, well, geez, I don't think fire pits are really going to be on people's mind at this point. But, the insanity kind of slowed up a little bit. Everyone got their stimulus money. And April, May, June, it was very hard for us. We could not keep up with the orders, and found a way to, keep up and handle everything. the balance of 2020 was just, I mean, amazing. I mean, numbers, I'm hitting numbers at the end of the month that, it would take me in the past, 4 or 5 months to hit that number, and I'm hitting it in 1 month.
Let's talk about the pandemic. So you're in New Orleans and everything hits, like you mentioned, and I think it was kind of more of a shock to everyone, and a lot of businesses, because we've seen influx in businesses going out of business, businesses slowing down, and then there's some businesses that increase tremendously depending on what their service or product really was.
Right.
And when March, April kind of came around, I don't think anyone knew what was expected. They're like, "Oh, this is going to last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Everyone will kind of be back to normal." Exactly. And I think what happens is people are like, "You know what? Oh, we'll be fine." And then I think once April, kind of middle of April, and said, "Hey, we're shutting down schools. You can't till May, June." Is that kind of when you thought that everything kind of like you thought business was going to get back to it? Is that kind of when you guys like May and June of 2020 was when you guys kind of really ramped up and you were unexpected of this?
Yeah. We were, our March last year, we're kind of coming back in and getting back into the shop towards the end of the month, and ended up closing out, decent March. Wasn't anything, too remarkable, but at least it wasn't a dud. And then April picked up, and then June and July. And it was just, I mean, we quadrupled, in those months. And basically we're just, going through material and just cranking things out. We were filling up, ground trucks on a daily basis. They'd have to bring in like a special crew just to load the back. I mean, and our UPS and FedEx carriers were coming in, and they were so maxed out. That was a whole different problem. I'm sure a lot of people had issues with the shipping and buying stuff, and then the long wait times, to get things delivered. And so they ran out of actual trucks. They had to bring in moving trucks. And we would just load the back of these moving trucks with just boxes of fire pits. And just, I mean, that was like almost on a daily basis. And, everyone's just changed, basically. I mean, everyone's staying in. They have to stay home, but they don't want to be in the house. So they pushing out, trying to hang out outside, get a little bit of, staying in, but kind of enjoying the outside a little bit.
What I think people don't realize is your fire pits could range from almost 50 pounds to 250 pounds. So they're not just like some normal person can just pick up a humongous fire pit and say, "Hey, I'm just going to pick it up." Like the UPS guys, they probably are like, "Oh God, a 250 pound fire pit."
Yeah, it's we need to have like some pretty strong backs here, and a lot of the drivers that we work with, we see the same guys day in, day out, and so they're familiar with how heavy our products are. The latest one we have is 45 pounds, and they go up to, like 250, 300 pounds on our big ones. And those will ship out on a truck, but our small ones that would ship out on a ground carrier would range between 45 pounds and about 110 pounds. Still very heavy.
Let's talk about, so you kind of started around 2012, kind of the business. How big is the business now in regards to maybe locations, or how far do you ship out?
Okay. Well, really not much has changed with the way that we do business. We still are in the same building as we were in 2012, still using the same amount of shop space. Our overhead really hasn't changed, which has been something, I've been pretty, I guess, adamant about trying to keep everything the same, try not to make huge changes, because at some point things might go back to normal, and you don't want to get stuck with a lot of overhead. We are a small company. We only have 3 guys here, and I'm one of them. So we've got 2 guys in the shop who've been with me for quite a few years now, and we all, when this started hitting in spring of last year, we all just sat down and we just said, what are we going to do here? We're going to hire more people. Are we going to change the way we have our processes here? Are we going to maybe take off some products that require a longer lead time? So We didn't make any changes with personnel. All we did is we made changes with the products that we're offering. We focused on items that were quicker to turn around and items that had a better profit margin on them. And, I think it's important as a business owner to get out of your own way sometimes, just talk to your employees and see what you can do better, what makes their job easier, what makes the business run better. I'm really glad we did that. I'm glad I didn't focus on trying to push a lot of these things that were, had slimmer margins or greater lead times. I mean, it really could have, gotten out of hand and broken our back at some point. So I'm glad, we all sat down and we kind of got on the same page early on before things really got wild last year.
So what does your clientele or your customers look like? I know, where have you shipped? Have you shipped all over North America, United States, just regions? So talk a little bit about that, because I think some people don't realize is how big you are as a small company in Columbiana.
Right. Well, it's the power of the internet, and we don't have a storefront here. I've noticed that we do get a lot of people who love the fact that we're in Columbiana, but if we were just to rely on our local sales, we would not have had the growth that we've experienced. And a lot of it's just using the power of the internet, shipping all across the country. I mean, we've shipped from coast to coast, from border to border. We've even done some international shipments. We've shipped to Africa. We shipped to Greece, a few different APOs, service members overseas. So really, I mean, just all over the country. And we've got some of the large retailers like Amazon, Wayfair, some of our customers who buy bulk and sell on those platforms too. So it really helps us have more of a national presence while we're still a very small company.
So we're a little over a year, May, right now. Have you seen your business, like we talked a little bit about your business in May and June of last year, climb?
Yeah.
And a little bit of that. Have you kind of set a steady, or have you kind of continuously grown even more through the whole pandemic?
Right. Now, our business is very predictable. We have like 2 peaks throughout the season. So our spring is our big peak, coming off of a very slow pre-tax season. So our January, Februaries are very reserved. Everyone's kind of seeing what's going on with their money. And then March, April, people start thinking about their outdoor space. So we start ramping up for our first season. And then usually July and August, the weather will warm up considerably. And people will experience regular temps of 80, 90 degrees. People don't really want to sit by a fire. So it kind of slows down a little bit in those times. And then the fall, everyone starts thinking nostalgia and, bonfires and enjoying the last remaining months of, life before winter. So, the fall will pick up, and then usually we'll try to rely on holiday, retail holiday sales kind of carry us through the rest of the year. So, it's easy. I've been, like I said, doing this for about 12 years now. And every year it looks very much the same I chart all of our progress, all of our sales on a month-to-month basis. And it all has the same, dip, so I can basically figure what's going to happen the next month. The only thing that's different is just, the sales total compared to years previous that fortunately it gets larger, but we still see the same dips. We saw that, all of 2020 as well. And beginning of this year was slow. Fortunately, it wasn't as slow as years previous. It's still, we had our best January on record. We had our best February on record, and we're going to have our best March on record. So, and then we're kind of leading into what we saw last year, hoping that we could still kind of capture lightning in a bottle and see, what happened last year, and hope we get that this year as well.
Well, I think it shows that kind of the framework that the pandemic still has effect on some businesses still, no matter if it's increasing or decreasing. And I think you're seeing a lot of people not going on vacation, but putting money into their backyard or increasing. And just to give some viewers some understanding, kind of what's the range of some of these fire pits, from like your normal one that's 25 to 50 pounds to your big ones that are 250 to 300 pounds, like size wise. And we'll put some pictures up just to show people. So just kind of a price range in that, and a website as well.
Sure. We have all of our pricing and products at ohioflame.com. Our fire pits range starting at $294 for our smaller ones. Our best-selling size currently $394. We go up, in price based off of the size. The largest one we have is a 4-foot diameter fire pit, and that's a little over $1,200. And we include free shipping on that. I know people don't want to, put a big heavy fire pit in their shopping cart and see that it's going to cost a lot of money to ship. So we cover the shipping costs and all that, and offer free shipping to all of our customers.
Well, and that's good, because if I see a big 300-pound thing coming in by the delivery guy, I'd be like, you can deliver it to the back.
Yeah, and people, that costs a lot of money to ship those fire pits, and our rates have been going up. It's a lot of pandemic, driven issues with our material costs, our shipping costs. So right now we offer free shipping on everything on our website, and hopefully we could continue to keep offering that, because I think customers really appreciate that, where they put the price in the cart and that's the price that they pay. There's no hidden surprises.
Now let's talk about custom designs. Do you guys do any type of custom designs? Like if someone wanted I'm just throwing out, I don't really know that yet, but do you do like a logo, or what kind of custom designs do we look at?
Yeah, we could pretty much do anything. Our base on our Liberty model fire pit is fully customizable. We could put logos, initials, names. We have a limited release Liberty fire pit where we'll kind of go with the season and do a special design. Currently, we're featuring our American flag base. It's extremely popular. A lot of people like that, and we try to keep that as available as possible. And then we can also do logos. We've done sports teams. We've done, just anything that somebody asks us of. We do a lot of tributes to military personnel. So, we're able to do a branch of service, rank, basically on the fire pit. That's been extremely popular.
Well, and let's talk about that. As a small business, you love to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. And every year you do it for our soldiers and veterans, and you're really involved with mm-hmm. veterans every year, the last, I think, as long as I've known. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about giving back to the community, how that feels, and kind of how you do it.
Well, it all started when I started doing the fire pit thing. I actually didn't know how to weld. I just had an idea, try to hustle and make some side money. And I had a uncle who was a Vietnam veteran, my Uncle Dave, and I knew he knew how to weld. And he, came back from Vietnam, very changed, very quiet, and a gruff man. And didn't really talk to him a whole lot, just because he scared me. And I was a little kid, and I was just scared. And I reached out to him and said, "Hey, can you help me, make these fire pits? Can you help me weld?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll help you weld." And I was blessed to be able to have some time talking with him, and he opened up and became a different man. He wasn't the scary guy that I grew up. And it was just, I really valued our time. We would do welding together, and he'd show me how to weld, and we just talk and, look forward to it. And he ended up getting cancer as a result of the Agent Orange that was, used over. Yeah. And so he started getting sick, and he told me, he said, "Matt, I can't do this, much longer. So you're going to have to kind of take the reins and do this welding thing yourself." So he showed me what I needed to know, and I started welding, and unfortunately we lost him. And so when it was around the time when I started doing the business full time, and I kind of had to pick, I guess, an identity of who are we going to be? What are we going to be about? And the only thing I think of was just, man, my Uncle Dave, is just always there helping me out. He started, he basically helps get me started here. And my grandfather is a World War II Army Air Corps veteran. So, we've got a lot of military in our family. That's the only thing I can think of is, man, we just got to be pro pro USA. We got to be, pro military and do whatever we can just to embody that kind of dedication and service. And so, every year we'll do a veterans appreciation where we recognize a few veterans and share their stories, not just their war stories, but also coming home and what they've done for their family and their community. And I mean, these are stories that need to be told. And, we're just a little part of it, where we're able to honor some of these amazing people, men and women who have sacrificed so much. And, just like, I want my uncle's, story to be told, I want these awesome veterans that we've, been fortunate enough to honor. Their stories need to be told as well.
And we commend them for their service, no matter if it was 5 years ago or 50 years ago. I think people look at those wars and kind of cringe when they come back because they're PSTD, just a lot of other things that we want them to we want them to get their help, and we commend them for what they did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so kind of moving forward, what does the business look like future-wise? I mean, now we're just a month away, or May, June, July for the summer. What is, or maybe you've already looked at years down the road. And the nice thing that what you mentioned is that you're able to predict your growth each year. And it's good to predict, especially during a pandemic, because that's when all the numbers just go haywire.
Yeah, basically the playbook went out the window. I mean, if there's something that you can expect, just throw it out the window. Like I said, I thought 2020 was going to be a bad year with sales because, like I said, it was an election year, and that's what I was getting ready for. So it shows you really what I know when it comes to planning. I mean, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But I figured if it did pick up, it would be pretty crazy. And, it was crazy. Do I think we're going to have that this year? I think we'll be close. Speaking with a lot of our bulk buyers, they all feel that 2021 is going to be much of the same, that we experienced in 2020. I know we didn't go on vacation last year. We kind of had that planned even before the pandemic. This year with the pandemic still, we're not planning on going on vacation. And, I think there's a lot of disparity between businesses, like you said earlier, Anthony, companies that have been negatively impacted, like our service industry, bars, restaurants. I think about, bartenders, waiters, waitresses, that whole industry has been decimated. And that's what breaks my heart, is these people who've been negatively impacted, where things that, you used to be able to just go out and get something to eat. Now there's all these crazy rules. You can do this, you can't do that. You have to wear a mask. You have to be, 6 feet from somebody. I mean, as a business owner, how do you plan for these, these rules that just get put in place and, for our safety, and try to still stay in business? I mean, to me, those are the people that, my heart breaks for. Our company, in business, was, blessed to be able to have increase, but, my heart goes out to those who've had the decrease and, the difficulty because of this whole thing. And I think, we're going to start opening up. I think things will kind of go back to normal for us, and hopefully people start booking vacations. People are going to start going out to eat. People are going to start going to concerts. And, we've buying, habits and lifestyle changes, through this pandemic. I mean, it didn't take long for people to just change the way they live. I mean,
and I think a lot of the states have been opening up over the last 3 months already. So it'll be interesting to see how that works, because I think people kind of are ready. Yeah. Because the weather's getting better and stuff like that.
And we miss that human interaction too. I mean, it's just life last year. I mean, as good as it was, for us on a business end, I mean, as a personal end, not seeing friends, not seeing family members. I mean, just that social disconnect. I mean, I think we're all itching to kind of get back out and enjoy life as normal. And I think, our business, I think we'll still, have growth, but I think it'll slow up a little bit as we get back to normal, which hopefully we will.
Yeah, I hope, and I think we are at some point already, and I think we're looking at growth for a lot of businesses, hopefully, and get back to that. And um, Matt, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join me tonight. If people didn't hear earlier, how do they get a hold of you, and where can they check out your fire pit displays?
Best thing is ohioflame.com. We have a store locator page on our website. We've got a lot of great brick and mortar stores that we enjoy working with. Definitely, these brick and mortar stores had a rough year. They need your support. Try to go out, give them some support. Check out our products there. We also sell from our website, so ohioflame.com, or you can call us toll free, 888-425-7771.
And you're located right here in the Mahoning Valley in Columbiana County.
Yes, we are.
So, Matt, I appreciate you taking time. You're always welcome, and hopefully we can get you back down the road and see where you guys are. And I wish you the best on your community involvement with the veterans this year for 2021.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
Always a pleasure. So at the end of each show, I like to have a little fun with my guests.
Okay.
Public gets to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So I have some questions. Answer could be professional or personal. Really, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
So, what's your best experience?
Oh, wow. Best experience.
These are harder than the other ones, aren't they?
Yeah. These are good questions. Best experience. I would say my wife and I went to Colorado a few years ago, and just being able to enjoy, being out there, Garden of the Gods, just walking around, seeing the geography, experiencing Colorado. I mean, to me, that's definitely up there in the memories, and I can't wait to go back and take our kids with us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Colorado's beautiful country if you can find the right area of Colorado.
Really? Yeah, very scenic.
Best memory.
Wow, best memory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's really possible. I mean, I've been, blessed to, be raised by a great, family, my parents. I mean, so many of my, best memories are just being, growing up, with my family, my two sisters and my parents, and, in recent, more recent, with, my wife and, our three kids. I mean, I'm so blessed. I can't pick just one memory. I mean, I find great memories, throughout my life every day. So, I mean, for me, it's like, I'm just fortunate enough to be able to experience that and, remember those. So, I mean, there's no way I can pick just one.
Okay. What's your best accomplishment?
Ooh, that's my family.
Okay.
My family. I mean, business has been great, but I mean, this is just one small part of me. I mean, being a husband and, being a father to three kids, to me, that's my best accomplishment.
Okay. Who's your role model?
Role model would definitely be my parents, just setting an example for us. And, my dad, he's been a hard worker. He's, worked at his job over 40 years, and he's getting ready to, come into retirement. Just constantly, working and sacrificing to provide, for his family. And, if I could, even come close to that, I'll consider myself, being a success.
Okay. Final question. If there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh, man. Past, present. Oh, wow.
I think that's always my best question.
That is. Whew. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. I mean, I don't really idolize anybody who's famous or a big name. I think what I'd rather do is go back and spend more time with people that I've lost, family that I've lost, and just to get a few more hours talking with them. I'd rather talk to them.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. So, Matt, thank you for joining me tonight, and we appreciate you doing what you do. You keep doing that, and Everyone, thank you for joining us tonight on Spanning the Need. For more interviews, podcasts, or announcements, please go to anthonyvspano.com. Everyone, stay safe and God bless. Good night.